What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are filming another training vlog. For those of you who don't know, my name is Gavin Aiden, and I am documenting my journey to becoming an open world champion in the sport of powerlifting, drug-free open world champion. I have a junior world championship under my belt. I've set multiple world records multiple times. I've flown all over the world to lift hundreds of pounds in front of thousands of people. I've been very blessed to be able to do this to really like the fullest extent. But I have yet to win an open world championship or win Sheffield. And so I want to become a multi-time, multi-weight class open world champion in this sport and also win Sheffield. All right, so those are my goals. I want to be one of the greatest lifters to ever walk this fucking planet. So that's the journey I'm documenting with these training vlogs right now. And I really appreciate every single person who tunes into these. Genuinely, it gives me the motivation to film them. So seriously, you guys taking time out of your day to watch my long ass yap sessions, it means the world to me. Truly. So thank you. Especially recently, we've uploaded multiple training vlogs and you guys have been nothing but positive and supportive. So genuinely, it just can't say that enough. I really do appreciate it. Today, we've got our last heavy session going into nationals. So we're 7 days out. Crazy to think about. I mean, it's like not just the last heavy session before nationals, but it's like the last heavy session of like the training year, you know, from like nationals to nationals. It's crazy. But yeah, I compete March 7th, Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern. I'm sure it'll be a live stream on YouTube. If you guys are going in person to see nationals in Lake Tahoe and you happen to see me, dude, like say what's up. Happy to talk, happy to chat. Yeah. Without further ado, we should probably just get right into the session, to be honest with you. It's cold in here. I'm tired, but we got work to do. All right. This is a final session. This is it. We need to go all in on this. Today we have top squat single. I'm going to aim for somewhere between 722 to 744. Then we have some back down singles. Then we have some deadlifts. And because of how deadlifts went this week, I kind of have to be careful with the weights that I choose, but I'll talk about that later. And then we have 2 accessories, cardio, and I'm gonna yap to you guys. I'm gonna talk to you guys about everything, what I expect, how I feel about the competition, all that stuff, all right? It is absolutely brick in here, so I am going with my long sleeve compression. White with the USA singlet, I think looks really, really good. But this is Able. I am sponsored by Able, AYBL. If you guys would like to support, you can get 10% off using code GAVIN10. But yeah, I wear a large in their compressions, but everything else I'm pretty much in XL in, I wanna say. Yeah, but anyway, yeah. All right, let's do it. I'll show you guys real quick. This video right here, this one, can you see that? It's called Be a Man, this first top one. I think I'll watch this thing at least 2 times a day, every day. I love it. I love the background music. I love all of the audio sound bites. I love it. So if you ever need some motivation, definitely check that out. My feet even, guys? What do you think? Not bad. Okay. Pretty much as soon as we load the 4th, we'll take it. Because then we'll go to 5. And then we'll go to 683. And then top. Not terrible. Not amazing, but not terrible. So this is the last warm-up. Last week we took 660 before 716. This week we're going to take 683 before we take anything between 722 and 744. Now, the 5 reds didn't feel amazing, felt kind of heavy, but that's usually not super indicative of how my top set's going to go on squats, at least. Yeah. In the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, amen. Lord, please lend me your strength and your courage. Fuck it. Holy whip. We will talk about how the single moved later after cardio. Right now, I just want to keep the session going forward. I am going to be taking 2 singles with a little under 80%. This should be about 605. I think 80% of my estimated 1 rep max, we'll call it, is somewhere around 620, maybe 610. So I wanted to take at least 1 single here, and then depending on how this feels / moves, I might go down even further for the second single, and then that's it. And then we're moving on to deadlifts. It's really important for me to not completely destroy myself this close to the meet. Obviously, given how deadlifts went, we want to make sure that we touch what we need to touch, get that CNS exposure, or get the exposure we need for our central nervous system, get that adaptation, and then done. We gotta dissipate fatigue now. We're too close. So I think that it's really smart. Honestly, even just looking at this, I'm second guessing if I wanna go this heavy. The only reason why I would wanna go somewhat heavy here is just because sometimes if I start that deload too soon, I end up feeling a little flat and detrained going into the competition. So I just want to be careful with that, but this shouldn't be too crazy. This should be just heavy enough for me to be like, oh my God, thank God I don't have to do another rep, but not so heavy that it's like, wow, that I feel absolutely fucking beat. So we're going to take a single here, and then if it feels good, we'll take 1 more single, and then we're going to cut it there and we'll go on to deadlifts. Nice, that was good. And just like that, squats are done. Crazy. Obviously, we'll have squats next week, but yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about it later. All right, it's time to deadlift. Nice and easy. Good? Easy. Yeah, so I don't know what's on the menu today for pulls. I think I might call an audible today regardless and do what feels right. Keep everything really, really light. But I do want to take a bunch of singles, I think, not paused, and alternate kind of between conventional and sumo. If nothing else, it's just to practice it because, I, not to toot my own horn here, but I have the unique ability of being able to do both. And both are, I can hit pretty much the same number, I think, top end. Maybe one might be a little bit better than the other. It really just depends. Sumo requires ridiculous amount of precision with the start position. Conventional requires a ridiculous amount of adaptation. I guess what I really mean by that is no fatigue and feeling really strong. Both require that, but conventional needs that a little bit more. But the caveat is I don't need to be in a perfect position per se. Unlike a lot of powerlifters, like the majority of powerlifters, especially the guys who are even deadlifting what I deadlift, they cannot switch it like that. Maybe they can pull conventional, but they're not pulling as much as they're pulling sumo. And so I consider that like a unique ability, a unique skill, we'll call it. And so the curse of that, though, is that I can go either way. Right now, we are dealing with a couple different factors here. Number one, we've got a fuck ton of fatigue. Like I can just tell, I can feel it. Even taking that 605 single, back down single, holy heavy. And that feeling of heaviness, despite my muscles not really being tired, means my central nervous system is beat, absolutely beat. And that is to be expected after the week that we just had and some of the training we've had. However, we are 1 week out from the meet, and so we really need to be extraordinarily cautious with our recovery pattern. You know, it's that simple. So that means that when it comes to conventional versus sumo, we need to consider the amount of fatigue we have. We need to consider positioning, whether or not we can replicate good positioning. We also need to consider what has been our best pull in prep leading up to this meet so far and what position were we using. Technically, my best pull in prep this entire year, which is absurd to think about, was sumo. That said, conventional wasn't that far behind. So I have a decision to make. It's either I am all in on a given movement and just no holds barred, we push in with that. Or allow myself to have that mental flexibility of like, okay, I can open conventional. If my opener feels pretty good, we can take our second conventional. If it doesn't, then I might as well just try sumo because I've got nothing to lose at that point because it probably won't go up conventional. The cool part is too, let's say if I get stapled sumo, then okay, I have a third, I can just try and take whatever I need conventional, you know what I mean? So I think I'm gonna go with the flexibility approach, which means today we need to practice both positions. It's basically useless because the weight's not going to be nearly heavy enough for me to know whether or not it's my position that's correct or if it's just quite literally the weight being so light that I can bully it into whatever position I want it to be in. And of course, this is tricky because truthfully, even I would say anything more than 484 would be too much for today. My coach wanted me to go and try like a 700-pound pull today. For the confidence of being able to pull it at the meet. But like, and this is no shade at my coach whatsoever, because I understand what he's saying. Like, he believes that the deadlift situation we had was strictly due to a lack of confidence inhibiting my ability to execute. And I do agree with that to an extent. But then the other side of it, though, is quite literally just that I believe it's just so much fatigue built up. My central nervous system is pretty beat. And so for me to even attempt something as heavy as 700 pounds on deadlift today, 1 week out from the meet after failing 716 2 days ago, is beyond questionable. I'm not doing that. And again, this is no shade against him whatsoever. Like, I totally get what he's trying to say and where he's coming from, but that's not happening. We're not doing that. Even if it's there today, like we don't win today. We have to win in 7 days. So for me, I'm going to go as heavy as 220, and I'll probably take like 3 singles at 220 and then either call it a day or do like a set of 4 or a set of 5, like stupid, like just to kind of get some more movement, but that's basically it. And then we're going to move on. But, the hard work of today is done. Kind of low key pull something here. Feels a little awkward. I hate when that happens too. It's just, it's really frustrating, but it is what it is. I haven't had this happen in a while. It honestly, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I hate to say it. It's probably the flats. I hate to say it. It's probably the flats, which is concerning because A, depth is definitely harder to hit in the flats, but B, I do feel stronger and more stacked and stable in my flats. The problem is that I don't know. I mean, what do you do? We're a week out. You know what I mean? The cool thing is I can squat in anything. So I'm definitely still going to try and squat in flats at the meet, but I'll bring my heels just in case. Hey, bro. Sometimes you just kind of gotta roll with the punches, you know what I mean? Only so much you can do. Okay, I'm gonna have to put these mats together because this is definitely a little awkward right here. Now, the deadlift technique I was using throughout prep that made my deadlift look fucking amazing. Telling you, I don't know if I can go heavy enough today to really know for sure what the answer is going to be, but we can at least try. Okay. That wasn't too bad. That didn't feel like I could pull 800 pounds, but that didn't feel too bad. We're going to take about a minute and a half in between each set. I am going to go through my phone and look at videos of both myself walking me through, because I will literally, I record videos of myself talking to myself about what's working on a given movement, and then I favorite it. I have hundreds of videos like that over the years. But then I also favorite my best sets that I've had. Like after a set, I'm like, holy shit, dude, that moved amazing and it felt great. I will save that video in my favorites because I can refer back to it in times like these. Where it's like, man, like, what was I doing to make it look good? And then I look, I'm like, okay, I see how I'm setting up. I see where I'm putting my feet. Okay, cool. So I do that. I also make notes in my notes app. I'm always trying to document my process, always. If nothing else, I can refer back to it in times like these. At its absolute best, I can give it to clients. I can use it to kind of curate better and more optimal experiences for people and for myself. So I highly recommend you do that if you're not already doing that. I think it's about time to take this. But yeah, I'm going to go through and really just try and, like I have some sets screen recorded as well that went really well. But I'm going to really try and find a position now because I really need to have something that's reliable on meet day. That way I don't have to worry about like, fuck, how did I do this? You know what I mean? How did I deadlift? Like that felt good. The problem is, when the weight's super heavy, not having this position is gonna fuck me, I think. So we're gonna take 3 more singles. We'll take another one with a little bit more extension. And again, dude, it's just trial and error. Just find that groove, you know? Maybe I'll take a single conventional or whatever, but I don't really care about that because I've been pulling conventional. I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to, if nothing else, figure that out during warm-ups on meet day if I need to. Like, can I pull 800 from this position? This position right here? Low-key, yeah, I feel like. Boom. Okay. All right. Midfoot pressure, for sure. That was something I was forgetting. Midfoot. Ride the pressure of that midfoot, right? We're going to cue some extension here. So we're going to dip, midfoot here. That was it. That was it. That right there was it. Took 3 singles. So what do? We came in around here, nice angle, nothing too aggressive, nothing too straight. We're right here. I would say the shin kind of stopped at around the start of that knurling. Felt that midfoot pressure, balls of the feet. So we're on there instead of being on the heels. We're here. Before we do anything, slight dip to feel that pressure, right? Keeping those hands nice and loose. Extension. And then we kind of kept that extension hinged to the bar to keep the hips high. And then pull slack. And then this. Boom. Pushing knees out. As opposed to like trying to do this. Yeah, that worked, bro. That worked. The heaviest dumbbells I've got here without having to use the Rogue 15-pound ones where I have to load a whole bunch of plates and shit is 50. Oh, that sucks. Okay. £50 isn't really enough for me to feel super taxed. But actually, towards the end of it, I did feel pretty like I can feel it. There's a pump, and it feels pretty tired. I haven't done these in a while, so the chest support really does make it a challenge. And this angle makes it a challenge as well. So, yeah, let's keep pushing. We're gonna do 3 sets total. I think I could probably hit the same number of reps with more weight. It's just the number of reps that's tricky right now. Like my body's not conditioned for, but just weird. My traps are pretty strong. In fact, when I first started lifting weights, I was 14 years old. That's when New York Sports Club let me in. And I did the same workout. It was a full body routine. Well, actually it wasn't. It was a full upper body routine. I didn't train my lower body for the first year or two that I was in the gym because I was an athlete. So I was like, oh, I don't need to train legs. The fuck I need to train legs for? I sprint, I run, I do all this other shit. Idiot. But anyway, who knows where my squat would be if I had an extra year of leg training under me. But anyway, I would do the same upper body circuit. And I remember one of the movements I used to do fucking retarded amount of sets with was upright barbell rows. Let's say 3 to 4 sets of a hard 15. Then that was a wider grip. And then for whatever reason, I would go in 3 to 4 sets. Then I would do these with a barbell. Then I would do, shrugs into curls. So it'd be a shrug, curl, overhead press. And what else did I do? I think that might have been it. But I did so many upright rows, barbell rows, my fucking, and so many overhead pressing, barbell upright row into overhead presses, that my front delts were just fucking massive. My traps were massive. I remember as a 14-year-old, everything else was underdeveloped, but my fucking traps were mountains. It was sick. Now that did cause issues when I started playing rugby and shit, because from all that overhead pressing, my labrum and stuff is all fucked up, rotator cuff is all fucked up. But hey, listen, man, price of being jacked. But I think traps is one of the most underrated muscle groups, and nobody likes to train them. I think they're fucking one of my favorite muscle groups. Somebody who has massive traps you just don't want to fuck with. Okay, curls and we're done. Not bad for not taking a break and going straight into the curls. I've never done 50-pound incline hammer curls. So what do we get, 3 reps, 4 reps, 5 reps, something like that? That was pretty good. I'm happy with that. We'll go down to 35s, and the goal is to get at least 8. If we can't get 8, well then the last set will drop down to 20, 25. Let's see if we can get a little bit more of a stretch. That was good. Definitely got more than 8. But I want to go light for this last one. 20. Yeah, let's go 20. So I can slow it down, just focus on the pump. But yeah. No, I think overall, solid session. A little annoyed about this. It's just there. It's like a pull. Definitely annoyed about flats. Like, it's possible I'm just tight, fatigued, and so squats would naturally feel their worst right now, but, you know, flats don't make it any easier in terms of just depth and feeling like I can reach really deep ranges. But still, like, it moved well. Like, I feel like it was a strong single. Positioning was decent. So, yeah, I will definitely have to bring my heels, I think, for nationals anyway. But, yeah. But, guys, this is it, man. I mean, like, you know, when you train and you're training to win and you're training to be the best, there's no secret sauce. There's no, like, special thing. It's just this. It's just the work. And you just want to make sure that the work you're doing is going to get you closer to your goals, you know? So that's the most important thing. And it's work not just here. It's work on this. It's work on your recovery. You know, it's just all that stuff really, really does matter. One thing that I want to take more seriously after this championship is my mobility and stretching, because I don't take that seriously. And I get a lot of mixed reviews on stretching. Like, I know some athletes who swear by it and say it's super necessary for their health, for their longevity, for their performance even. And then I know some athletes who are very strong, don't stretch at all, and who don't find that it helps. I know a lot of athletes who have done both and say, yeah, it doesn't really make a difference. Most of the literature that I've seen points to stretching kind of being more placebo than anything else when it comes to athletic performance, but most especially powerlifting performance. The problem is, and the caveat here, is I exist at an extreme end of the spectrum when it comes to mobility. I am ridiculously tight, and I have very, very little mobility. So I always have been that way, ever since I was a kid. So I do think, and this is why I don't really think stretching is that important, I think mobility is extremely genetic. I know strength athletes who can do full-on splits. Shane Hunt is one of those guys, just an absolute mutant of a guy, and ridiculously strong, lots of muscle tissue, yet is incredibly flexible. Now, he works on it. Absolutely. Ooh, hold on. Yeah, this is what we wanted. Whew, shit's fired up. We're done. What was I saying? Shane Hunt, incredibly massive guy, extremely flexible. I know people, bodybuilders especially, lots and lots of muscle tissue, extremely flexible. Is it possible that they work on that stuff? Absolutely. Like, I know guys who were so obsessed with their craft that they were taking up ballet in order to become better bodybuilders. You know, actors who take up dancing to become more fluid. So that's 100%, I see the value in that. But so much of it is genetic. A lot of it is genetic. Because I also know people who do not stretch at all, who don't have to put in much work whatsoever, and they are leaps and bounds more flexible than I am. So I do think a lot of it's genetic, but I also do think I have done myself a disservice of having years upon years of just not stretching, yet still tightening everything up. So, yeah. But man, that concludes the session. All right, so we're gonna have a meal, cardio, and then we yap. Okay, so we have quite a few things to talk about, quite a few things to break down. I'm gonna try and keep things as short, sweet, simple, and concise as possible. We'll first go over how the session went, then we'll go over my thoughts about, you know, this upcoming week, the traveling, all that stuff, and then we can even talk a little bit about the competition and all of that. Let's dive into it. So very first thing I wanna talk about, I wanna cover here is training, how the session went. So this session was as good as it was going to be, I think, given how much fatigue I'm under, given the circumstances of how the deadlift session went and, just how training has been going in general, basically this entire year. This was, I want to say, it wasn't the heaviest squat I've ever hit of prep, but this was certainly the heaviest squat I've ever hit in flats. And this is a great sign that what we need on meet day is there. So the only thing that I'm a little concerned about, of course, is going to be depth. I'm always concerned about depth. It felt like I didn't have room in the hole. Like it felt like with that position, I couldn't have gone lower. And that's a scary feeling because what do I do with that? It's possible if I change my stance just a little bit, and it's possible if I cue something a little bit different, I can get a little bit of a bounce out of the hole. I can get myself to go a little bit deeper, a little bit lower. It's very possible. But it's hard to just kind of like trust that that's going to be the solution, especially this close. That said, that doesn't actually mean heels are the answer either. So as we all know, I've had controversial calls with heels, without heels, all over the place. So yeah. Now, the benefit though, the pro, is that that's probably some of the best positioning I've had with that weight. I can't say it's the best. I've definitely had some squats in the past with anywhere between 740 to 755, where the positioning was really great. Like the positioning was strong. There was no buckling. There was no nonsense going on. And so yeah, I can't say that the position that I had today was like the best of all time. But what I can say is that normally when I'm feeling the way I'm feeling and weights are moving the way they're moving, my squat looks way worse and is all over the place. And it wasn't. We had a relatively straight down, straight up position, which is great. So that gives me hope. That honestly, that gives me a lot of hope. I'm very confident in that squat position. And that's one of the reasons why I did make that switch to flats, because I feel like I can maintain that position a lot better. It's still possible with heels. It's just a little bit more wonky, and the heels don't necessarily just give me extra depth either. In a lot of cases, they kind of just don't help me with depth at all. They just help me keep a more upright torso. And that has its pros and cons. Yeah, what else regarding this session? The last thing I'll say about squats that comes to mind is the warm-ups. Warm-ups did not feel good. Like I definitely felt tired and beat going into the warm-ups for sure. 683 did not move as well as I'd like it, as well as I wanted it to. And positioning wasn't phenomenal. And so again, all things considered, I'm honestly really happy with the speed of the 738 because all things considered, I think it's a very solid single. Yes, it does need to be deeper, but still, I'm happy with it. Okay, deadlifts. We did 5 singles sumo with 220 kg, and that was it. As you guys saw, first single was meh. Second single was okay, a little bit better. Third single, I think it clicked. I think we found that position that's going to work best if we needed to pull sumo at the meet. And it's something that I probably will still have to play around with a little bit during this week, but we did what we needed to do to dial it in enough so that on the day, if we need to switch, we will. And, just to kind of talk about that just a little bit, like my thought process with that is this. I am an athlete. My job is to execute at whatever cost. So, it's kind of like, this is how I see it. And some coaches might disagree with me, but if I were a soccer player, right? And I've been shooting with my right foot, and the goalie is just anticipating it every single time, and I'm getting it to the left corner. And my coach comes up to me and he says, Gav, we need a fucking goal. Like, I don't care what you do, but do something. So I switched to my left foot. But I still shoot towards the left corner. I changed the dominant foot, or I changed the kicking foot, but didn't change where I'm putting the ball. Even if I did change where I put the ball, it wouldn't matter. Point is, I'm making a change to how I execute so that I can accomplish the goal at hand. And that's how I feel as a power lifter. A lot of coaches and a lot of athletes are like, no, we have to be rigid. Like, we have to use the same technique and we have to, like, now is not the time to change anything, blah, blah. Guys, I have changed technique mid-meet Gone out for an opener? Nah, that didn't feel good. Let me open up my hand with a little bit. Like, I've done that because I trust my gut. Like, I know that the goal isn't for me to use the same technique. The goal is for me to fucking win. Now, if using the same technique or using the same shoes or whatever is going to give me the best chance of success, I'll stick with it. But if I sense that it's not, I'm not going to stick with it. It doesn't make sense to me. That's what I've learned. So I will change stances. I'll change whatever I need to on meet day if it means winning. And so I'm fully prepared. Like, I'll warm up conventional. If I feel like, man, fucking beat, I don't know if this is going to work, go sumo. If I take my opener conventional, I'm like, 750 might be tough, or 760 or 770, or whatever we have to take might be tough. Okay, so we go sumo. You know what I mean? And like I said, man, this is as much a game as it is a sport. So to me, that's part of the fun too. It's like, all right, like, fuck it, let's see what we got. You know what I mean? Like, everybody else is a little too pussy to take these types of risks, but I'm not. I'll fucking do it. You know? And so, yeah, man, I mean, that's just my opinion. You know, that's just my perspective. I feel like I'm an athlete. My job is to adapt and to execute. So that's what I will do. And so my confidence isn't in my ability to secure a certain outcome. My confidence is in my ability to adapt to the circumstances so that I can try to secure a certain outcome. And so, yeah, so that's how I operate. So I have every intention of basically going either way, conventional or sumo, at the meet. I am not decided just yet. Going into this final block, I was 100% on conventional, but now I'm not so sure, obviously. And that isn't to say that I would have been able to deadlift the 716 sumo. It's just to say that we need a certain number on meet day. What position will give us that number, period. That's it. So that's that. Accessories were super easy from the session, so nothing really to say there. Okay, cool. So now we can talk about the week ahead and what to expect. So today I've started my water load. I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I have started my water load. I do have to do a water cut. And so that means just like basically about double the amount of water that I normally drink and a considerable more amount of sodium to help me retain this water. So in here, like basically I kind of have to drink like 7 of these, essentially 7 to 8 of these. And you know, I put electrolytes in every single time I go to drink, but fluids, in terms of like my total fluid intake for the day that I have to hit, it includes everything that I drink. So it could be a protein shake, could be coffee, or it could just be straight up water. So yeah, so that's happening. We started the water cut, which is always a pain in the ass, especially when you have to travel. For those of you who are not from the US, competing at nationals is like an international level meet, and in some cases it's worse. So for example, for me to compete at this year's nationals, I'm so lucky I found a direct flight, but I have to drive an hour and a half to the airport. It's a 6-hour and 45-minute flight to Reno, Nevada. Then it's an hour and a half drive to the venue. So you're looking at, I mean, I don't even know what that is. 9 hours, 10 hours of traveling. And a lot of other athletes from where I live have to get connecting flights. There was literally only one direct flight from one airport in our area. And yeah, so, and it's a super early flight. I'm not going to be able to train Tuesday. So yeah, it's not fun. Okay. It's not fun. There is a time difference as well. So where I'm going to be competing is 3 hours ahead of where I live, which is, I found, is always a little bit worse on my body. But the good news is that I am flying out far enough in advance to where I should be fine. Like they say, what is it? Like a day per hour or an hour per day, excuse me, for the adjustment. So yeah, so it sucks. Okay. The traveling sucks. The traveling's never fun, but the worst traveling I ever had was actually Sun City, South Africa. That was a hour and a half drive to the airport, 15-hour flight in basic economy. I had a window seat. I was stuck like this, 15-hour flight and a 3-hour car ride from the venue, or sorry, from the hotel, from the airport to the venue. That was insane. Insane. In fact, what I thought about to get myself through that was a story about a guy who escaped Africa, actually. I shouldn't say escaped, but I guess escaped Africa to travel to the UK, by hiding himself in the wheel well of the airplane, which, by the way, gets up to freezing temperatures, like deadly freezing temperatures. And apparently he had flown with a friend of his, and the friend died. He froze to death and died. Somehow this guy survived, holding on to like the wheel well, whatever is in that like little chamber there, for the entire duration of the flight from Africa to the UK. He survived. So if he could fucking do that, I can sit in the plane. You know what I mean? For that long. So yeah, so the traveling is a nightmare, but it's not the worst I've had. It's just always a pain in the ass to travel, but it's part of it. You know what I mean? Some people, I think you just have to embrace it, embrace the journey, you know, almost see it as like, man, this is amazing. Like I get to travel for this sport. And more than that, this is what it feels like to be an elite athlete. Like I have to leave my town to go compete in foreign land. You know what I mean? So it's kind of cool, you know, depending on how you look at it. But yeah, so I'll be traveling on Tuesday. Hopefully it won't be too bad. The water load will be having to happen during that time as well, which will definitely be interesting. Although I did get extra row seats for that. So hopefully that'll be kind of comfy. You know, it won't be comfy, but it'll be like spacious at least. So that's that. And yeah, man, I mean, in terms of the programming going into this week, the name of the game here is just dissipate fatigue, like just taper. So I don't know what John's going to cook up, but it probably won't be anything too complicated. I will probably, if I had to guess, be taking my normal secondary session on Monday, except the intensity to be super, super low. The tricky part will just be bench, but I think I'll probably just take like a long pause, somewhat heavy-ish bench single. Nothing crazy, but just heavy enough for it to mean something. And then Tuesday, I won't train. Wednesday, I'll probably take some pretty light pulls and we'll bench maybe. And then Thursday, if I had to guess, we'll probably bench again. I'll bet you John's going to want me to take like some primer squat singles midweek, but I don't know if I'm going to take them, honestly. I think I'm just going to give my body the break. It's not like I'm going to forget how to squat in between Monday or even in between now and next Saturday. So yeah, and then Friday I'll probably be completely off, and then Saturday we weigh in and we compete, man. So that's probably how things are going to look in terms of numbers and stuff like that. Like I said in a previous video, there's really no point in me talking about that. Like at the end of the day, we need to load what we need to load to win, and whether or not these people were there, I would be loading up what I want to load anyway. So yeah, so that's that. I am, of course, extremely confident, and I think one skill that I have honed over the years as an athlete is to detach myself from how I feel in the moment. Because your feelings will lie to you. You know, your emotions are indicators. They're not the truth. And so it's important to take them into account. It's important to filter them. But you can't operate solely based on them, because how you feel right now is not how you're going to feel 5 minutes from now, you know, let alone a week from now. So I really just detach myself from it, you know, and half of it is like, well, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? Like, this is how I feel right now. Yeah, I'm tired. Yep. I'm beat up. Yep. I'm a little uncertain about, you know, footwear or whatever the fuck. But like, what am I going to do about it? But then the other half too is it's like, listen, man, this is part of the process. What, you thought it was going to be easy to become a world champion? You thought it was going to be easy to do what literally no human has done. I mean, we're talking about a total to win US nationals. The total required is going to have to be more than any human has ever totaled in human history as a 93 kilo lifter. Like, that's absurd. It's crazy, right? And so, like, you can't expect that to be easy. You can't expect that to be a walk in the park. So it's natural to feel the way we feel, you know? It feels hard because it's supposed to be. You're right where you need to be. You're right where you need to be. And so I remind myself of that, you know? There's nothing really to be concerned about, nothing to really be worried about. And like I said, if you are observant, analytical, and implement changes that are good changes, then you've done what you can do, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, if I take care of what I need to take care of going into this week, and if I make the right choices, and if I'm on point, and, you know, and if I don't leave any stone unturned, then I've done everything I can within my control, within my power. And so then the rest be the rest, you know? So So yeah, so you detach from how you feel in the moment, you know? And I think that's really important. You know, you want to detach from the outcome. You want to just be present, just be focused on right now. You know, like not how I feel right now, but what needs to get done right now. You know, and let me just put one foot in front of the other. I don't need to be able to see the way. I just need to walk it, you know, and just keep going and going and going and going. And before you know it, you're gonna look up and be like, holy shit, I made it out the forest, you know? And I think the more years that have gone by of me navigating these types of paths, the better and better I've gotten at that. So yeah, so I'm excited, man. I will say that I am a bit shocked at the dropout rate. I completely understand that there are setbacks and that people get hurt, and this is not easy at all, and that it is extremely expensive to make these trips. I mean, I'm spending a stupid amount of money to go compete at nationals. Because you guys understand, I have to fly. My girlfriend's coming with me. Hotel. Guys, the hotel, I'm not even gonna get into it. Hotel. Handler. My handler I have to fly out. I am flying out a videographer, my friend Sean Boyd. He's been helping me film something for the past several years. It adds up. Hotels for those guys, plus the food. Like, it all adds up. Buying a freaking bottle of water at the airport cost me $50. So it all adds up, man. I mean, we're talking about thousands of dollars. And I don't have any equipment sponsors anymore. I don't really have any sponsors, especially none that are covering the cost of traveling. So the only sponsor I have is Able, which, by the way, if you want to support, code Gavin10 for 10% off. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. And also I really do like their stuff. But Able's a sponsor, but they don't do anything competition related. And then I do like one-off deals with GNC. So I'm not an exclusive sponsor with GNC, but I partner with them on any like upcoming products or deals and stuff like that, just because I mean, what's not to like about the products at GNC? You know what I mean? Like, they have a whole variety of them. I can kind of take my pick, and it works. So, but they're definitely not covering anything related to competition. So I don't have any help with that. Some athletes have help, but even if you do, like, it's so expensive to go. And so I get it. I get all that. But at the same time, I can't help but think, like, show up. Like, and I don't mean this in any negative way at all. Like, I really don't, because I do get it. I do get it. And it could easily be me. And it was me for SBD Austin. It really was. Like, I had to choose. Training was going terribly. And I felt like shit. And that same week, I had a public speaking event, my first true, real, big public speaking event that I had to be incredibly prepared for. Literally the same exact week, just days before SBD Austin. And I had to make a decision. And, you know, SBD Austin wasn't going to give me anything. Like, it was a money meet, but it was a local meet. There was nothing I could get out of that. And so I was like, what is the point of doing this? Like, this just isn't going to make any sense for me right now. And so I made that decision. So I completely understand athletes, you know, pulling out of meets and making decisions that are in their own best interest for the long game. And that's why, like, it's nothing against these athletes. It's just disappointing for me as a competitor, because I want to compete against the best. Win or lose, I want to compete against the best. And the guys who have dropped out are arguably some of the best. You know, I don't know everyone who's dropped out. I just know that Russ and Petrie, and I heard Jamar, but I don't know if that's confirmed or not. I don't know. And I wish them all the best. Like, I really hope that they have healthy recoveries, great preps moving forward. I hope their mental gets taken care of. Like, I hope all that's, like, I hope they're okay. You know what I mean? Like, I completely understand why they would need to take that step back. At the same time, I just wish that they would be there, because it means that I get to compete against them. I get to see them. I get to compete against them. It would have been my first time competing head to head with Russ, which would be really cool. Like, you know, there's a lot of stuff here that I just wish, you know, could have transpired. Again, win or lose, it's not about that. It's just about the experience of sharpening myself against these men. And I really do wish that they would have showed up, but it's okay. You know, I understand. But yeah, that's disappointing to me. I will say, like, you know, and you got to be careful here. You never say never, because it could very possibly be me next year, this year, the year after, whatever, that I end up having to pull out of, you know, a big meet. But one of the things that I take a lot of pride in is showing up no matter what, and never giving up. And when it gets hard, when it gets tough, when all hope seems lost, you get up and you keep going anyway. You stand up, you stand for yourself, and you stand 10 toes down, no matter what. And I think that's necessary for me. I don't think that's necessary for everyone. And maybe that is an unhealthy way to approach life. But there's a lot here. First, from a logical perspective, nationals is an experience. There's a lot to learn from here, not just from you doing it, but also from being around other great athletes. There's a lot to learn. So you're giving up that. Number two, I may fucking die tomorrow. I may die the day after national. I may die. I don't know how much time I have left. Let me give everything I have while I'm still here. Let me experience life to the fullest while I'm still here. Number three, I spent the entire last year, even if my training was horrendous, I spent the entire last year training and working for this fucking moment. So I'm going to give up on that a week out just because I failed my 716 deadlift. And this is not a shot at anyone. I literally failed my 716 deadlift 2 days ago. I can't okay, the fourth thing, are we on the fourth thing? The fourth thing, what message do I send to all of the people watching me? What message am I sending to my siblings? Assuming that they even give a shit. That quitting is okay? That not showing up is okay? That just because you don't have a great shot or a shot at all at winning, you should just not show up at all? You should just say, forget it? I can't let that be me. And it's so tempting. It's so tempting. And don't get me wrong, guys. I want to be clear. I'm not trying to throw shade at anyone. I'm not. Because I'm not trying to say that I'm correct. I'm not trying to say that I'm right in my approach. In fact, I recognize it could be incredibly unhealthy and incredibly toxic. And maybe it's the reason why I have lost so much. But it's still me. It's just who I am. I'm just trying to be open about that. I want to be a world champion, man. I need to be a world champion, an open world champion. I need to be the greatest. I need to be the best. And I can't help but think, what would a world champion do in these moments? What would a world champion do? If the only way he can get to the world championship is to win this upcoming national championship, if the only way he can get better is to keep going through these challenges, through these trials, I have to keep going. I have to, because that's what a champion would do. At least I think. It's the principle of showing up. It's the principle of giving everything. It's not about being the best, guys. And this is what people fucking miss about me. Like, so many people talk shit about me. So many people think I'm an asshole, I'm arrogant, I'm all these things. Here's the truth of it. And I, maybe I am, I don't know. It's not about being the best. It's about being your best. And even in that, it's not about being your best as in this is the best I've ever done. It's this is the most I've ever fucking given. This is the most of me I could pour into this. And fuck the results, fuck the outcome, because the one thing I can control is my effort, and I gave all of it. That's what this is about. It's the principle of that. Like, God gave me this life. God gave me this potential. God gave me this ability, and I'm going to fucking exhaust it. I'm going to wring every last fucking dropout. Pause. Every last dropout. Like, I have to, because I cannot live with myself if I don't. I will always be wondering, what if? What if? One of the things I regret, but there's a lot of things I regret in my life. One of them, my boy Nathan French, I haven't spoken to him in years. I don't really know what happened, honestly. I hope I didn't do anything wrong. He's a great, great guy. I mean, I don't think anything bad happened. I think we just kind of grew apart. But I loved him as an individual. And he was somebody who was a really positive influence in my life. And I don't even know if he knew that. But we had a couple moments together where like we would do, he's an influencer, he's a hybrid athlete, but he's got this character to him that is inspirational, that is fortuitous. That's like, if I want to be a man, he's a good example. That's how I felt, honestly. And I lacked, I'm not even going to get into that, but long story short, having positive male role models in my life is really important for me. Like, it's really important to me because I want to be a better man. And I want to know what that looks like. I want to, so I just really appreciated him and how simple but strong, his character was. So we had grown close. He had asked me, I remember this, it was just before a world championship. I think it was just before Malta, I want to say it was. And I believe I had I had just ended at that point, what was a 10-year relationship. And that's a whole freaking other story. And maybe I was a year or so after that, whatever. Either way, I was single. And he asked me, he was like, hey man, I'm going to move down to Austin. He's from our area. He's from the Northeast. He was like, I'm going to move down to Austin, Texas. I'd like to move in with you. You want to come? And basically I said no. And I regret that so much. I could have done it. I should have done it. And I regret it because I would have grown from it. For sure, 100%. And I always will have that nagging thought in my mind, what if? What if I just took that leap? I gave excuses like, well, I've got worlds coming up, and I did. I got this, I got that. The truth is, I probably was just scared of taking the leap. And in those moments, guys, your life is headed this way, let's say. And because of that one decision, it's now going to go this way. Or it was heading this way, and because of that decision, now it's going to go this way. Sometimes it'll go this way because of certain decisions. I have so many regrets in my life that are similar to that. And it's just because I didn't see things clearly and didn't have the courage to make the right choice. That's the truth. And so much of my life after turning 25 has been healing and building myself to be the man that not only has the clarity to see what the right decision is, but the courage to make that decision, the hard decision. I found that the right decision is often the hard decision. What I'm trying to say is, I don't think I'd be able to live with myself if I didn't see how far I could push myself. Just at least try. And showing up to nationals, no matter how beaten, battered, or broken I am, is just one of those things. It's just one of those things, man. I do believe you have to be the champion before you're the champion. And I think it's what a champion would do. So that's why I'm showing up. And again, maybe it is the wrong thing. Maybe I should throw in the towel. Maybe I should heal and wait till I have better training and whatever. I have given so much to get here. I have fought through so much to get here. I don't take it for granted. I have to show up. We burn the boats, man. We burn the boats. There is no turning back. There's no such thing. Win, lose, or draw. It was always worth it because we showed up for ourselves. Because we proved to ourselves that we don't quit when it gets hard. We proved to ourselves that we are the type of person who will step on that platform and attempt to accomplish what no human has ever accomplished, despite everything saying that we can't do it, despite everyone saying that it's not possible. That's the type of person I want to be, because it's what I would want for my kids. If I had children, especially if I had a son, but a daughter as well, I would look at my children and I would want them to know that they can do anything they set their mind to. I would want them to know that you should dare greatly. Someone has to win. Why can't it be you? Oh, so you're hurt. Oh, so training didn't go well, Gavin. What, are you going to wait for the perfect circumstance? Good luck. That's never coming. It's never coming. It's just like why I waited until last year to start acting. I wanted to act since I was a fucking boy. I started acting long before I started lifting, which is crazy. People don't know that. I was in high school plays, I was in all that stuff. And I just I never took action. I was a timid bitch. I just never took action. And it wasn't until last year I was like, no, man, I need to be Marvel's next Wolverine. I truly believe it. This is where it starts, acting classes. I saw the potential. So I started. Why did it take so long? I realized the perfect timing, the perfect moment, it will never come. Now, today, this is when it begins. I'm not naive enough. I'm naive, but I'm not naive enough to assume that the perfect training phase, the perfect training season, the perfect training environment, the perfect competition will ever come. I will create that. That will come from me. That will not happen to me. And maybe I will go to nationals and completely embarrass myself. Maybe I won't squat even 700 pounds. Maybe I'll bomb out. Maybe I'll barely be able to pick 650 up off the floor and I'll lose miserably. And people will talk and people will say, yeah, Gavin's washed. Gavin can't do this. Gavin, maybe. Or maybe I'll squat 800 pounds. Maybe I'll bench 520 pounds. Maybe I'll deadlift 800 fucking pounds. Maybe I'll win. Maybe I will not only survive through all of this shit, but I will win and I will dominate. Maybe I will be victorious. And then what will they say? Choose your maybe. It's really it. It's what it comes down to. And I have the choice. I get to choose my maybe. So I choose the latter. I'm not saying it's easy. And by the way, I have a lot of fun doing this. Like it's a lot of fun for me to push myself. It's a lot of fun to see what I have within me. You have to enjoy that. It's borderline masochistic in some ways because it's painful, but you have to be a little insane sometimes. But I do enjoy it. Like that's, I have fun doing it. It's not like I'm feel like I've got a gun loaded to the back of my head, but it's work, It's not easy. So yeah, I don't know how long we've been yapping for. I don't want to keep you guys too long, but I just want to make sure that I cover all the bases because I just enjoy making these videos and I really appreciate all the feedback you guys have been giving me. And it just means a lot. It really does mean a lot to me that you guys would take time out of your days to do this and to comment, to give me that positive feedback. It really does mean the world. I'm going to do my best to film throughout nationals. So I'm definitely going to be filming. I'm going to try and film the traveling. I think that'd be cool. I'll definitely be filming some of the water cup process, when we go grocery shopping and stuff like that. I posted a video like that last year. And then, maybe I'll post like a day out, what I'm thinking, how I'm feeling, all that stuff. And then like, bro, if I'm feeling it, man, like I don't mind filming in between lifts at nationals, I don't know how much I can do that. I mean, I'm sure it'd be fine, but yeah, I mean, I feel like that'd be pretty cool to just like, I want to be able to lock in 100% and focus, but like at the same time, I feel like it would kind of center me a little bit because I'd be talking to the camera, a few times throughout the meet. So I'd be like, that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, man, this is it, dude. This is it. This is what we work for. It's these moments. And, this is what I'll leave you with. I used to get really upset, and sometimes I still do. I used to get really upset when I would have to face an extreme, seemingly insurmountable amount of adversity. But I've grown to realize that I have asked God to make me strong, to make me great, the greatest. And like a diamond, that requires an obscene amount of pressure. Not only do you need to have the components innately to become a diamond, but then you need to endure the pressure required to be shaped into one, to be created into one. And when you pray for rain, you're gonna have to deal with the mud too. as I've heard Denzel Washington say. The adversity is an architect. It produces growth. And when you embrace that, when you recognize that all of this can make me better, well, now it's a beautiful thing, because it means I'm getting better. It means I'm getting sharper. I'm growing. And if that back there is what I was able to accomplish when I was him, what could I accomplish now being me? The version of me I am today versus the old me? You wouldn't recognize him. I can only imagine what today's version of me is capable of. And don't even get me started on what tomorrow's version would be capable of. But the secret ingredient is the adversity. And you have to endure it, you know? So there's been a lot of adversity, but I'm not the only one. Every athlete has had their fair share of circumstance. And now it's just going to come down to not just who wants it more, but who's willing to give everything, you know? And we'll see how the day shapes up. But no matter what happens, just know that I've given everything. Just know that I have left no stone unturned. Just know that I've burned my ships. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next YouTube video. Peace.